Before I launch into this video, I should point out that this was the area of permission that I was trying to obtain, and as you can see, the undergrowth is very low. That might be due to deer, not sure, but it's an area of woodland with what seems like a trackway and a series of pits. The river tributaries in the Weald where I am, at the head of the tributaries there were lots of ironworkings that consisted of bloomeries, basically from the Iron Age through the Roman till about the middle of the 3rd century. So I found out from the farmhouse down here, where incidentally a lady called Kitty Fisher lived in the mid-1700s, who was a courtesan, which is slightly better than a hearthwoman or a concubine. But anyway, she lived down there, and I found out from the owner of the farmhouse who owned this, and I basically took myself up to the bungalow where the lady lived, and she told me that she owned some woods and some pasture. Well, it turned out, and this is what I want to recite to you, is that the error was that I'd assumed it comprised this from the information that he'd given me, but it then turned out, when I was fighting through the trees up there, it wasn't in fact hers. So lesson learnt there is to find out exactly the confines of your permission. It wasn't wasted time because I had 4 acres of pasture and about a 1/4 acre of verge, which was covered in trees, so a lot of it's in the wood, and that's basically what you're going to see today. So not the permission that I had hoped to obtain, which was this very interesting area here, but nevertheless a permission of sorts. And yeah, I'll just post up what I found basically. This bit of pasture originally was a plot that was 8 acres, but it's been sold off. You can see the fence running up there. So the far end has been sold off, as have the far section of woodland. So the woods that I'm in basically stop about 20 feet in front of me there. There's a fence. 25, 26. I have been warned there are probably quite a lot of tin cans thrown from cars, sadly, but we'll see what this one is. You can see the hole's only about 3 inches deep, and whatever it is in here somewhere. Just get the get the clod into view. Might well be a piece of aluminium. Right, it's a coin. First hole coin. Oh dear. Is that a farthing? Right, can't immediately see what that is. I think that's a 1p. Now where's my spritzer? My sprayer. Have a quick look. Yeah, I do believe someone has spent a penny. Right, it's a decimal 1p, but good that it's a coin on my first hole. Right, got another nice signal. I do like banks in woods because obviously you get soil erosion which runs down. You can see the road through there, only 20 feet in front of me, hopefully. But got another signal here. 22, 23, 50% on the depth stakes. Small item. However, again, it wasn't very deep on this occasion, so no more than 3 or 4 inches. Bear in mind that there might be burrows in woods. Right, what's that? It's a bottle lid. Aluminium bottle lid. Right, on to the next. Right, there is a fair amount of junk, obviously being on the side of a road, but we've got this one here. Quite a low tone, but I've got the discrimination off, so can't tell if it's iron or not. Don't think that is. Right, see what that is. Right, this hole was about, I don't know, 5 inches or something, so quite a low tone, that one. So only time will tell. Shotgun cartridge end. So there we go, on to the next. Nice breeze coming through there. That's the 4 acres of pasture. by the way, adjoining this tiny quarter acre of wood. This one's shallow, and I'm assuming it's a shotgun. Shotty. 11. 50% on the depth scale. Right, there's the hole. So probably about 6 inches deep. Saying it's in here somewhere. And I sweep over it, so not getting horribly excited because the sound's actually it's quite a vague sound. It's not sort of very well defined. Right, immediately found it. See if it's in here. Right, I may have to come back in a sec. Right, whatever it is in the leaves here. So, is that it? It's a tiny piece of goodness knows what. Broken piece of steel or something. Whoops, by a gate, which is out of use at the moment. I've been told not to go through that gate because it's a bit rickety. So, what have I got? 21, but it's right on the surface. I think it's going to be a tin can or something. Yeah, my estimation was correct on this one. I didn't even need a pinpointer, fortunately, but can of Coke there. Right, 27, 28 on the surface. Almost certainly going to be a can, I would say. It's actually an end of tube thing. It's not very old. Might be the end of a wheelbarrow or I don't know, something of that nature. See, I'm up above the road. It's just basically a sort of verge bit of wood, this quarter acre. Got quite a pingy signal here. Where was it? I don't know if you can see that. 21, 22. It's actually showing full depth, which is promising. I don't know if you can see, but we've actually got a couple of signals. One still in the hole, one in that clod there. So, right, see what the one in the clod is first. It's like aluminium. Yeah. A doodle bug crashed in the field over the fence behind me or beside me there, apparently in the war, and I think I found bits of aluminium tubing in that pasture field, so I think that's connected to that. Yeah, and there was the other bit of it. Could be that. I know associated with aircraft you find lots of bits of alley tubing, but those who are not familiar with what a doodle bug is, it's a V1 which was powered by something called a pulse jet, which just basically uses a wave motion of basically compression and rarefaction, and it's very simple in concept. But they were fired from the north of France towards targets in London. Obviously a lot fell short and ended up places like here. Right, I think I've got an 18 or 19. Scale on this detector incidentally is minus 10 to 40. 3/4 on the depth stakes. Right, it wasn't very deep, so given that it's showing deep on the depth scale, everything being comparative, it's probably something quite small. So hopefully we'll find it quite quickly. The depth scale is only as good as the size of the object, if you get my drift. Something large and deep might look like something small and shallow. Right. What is it? Can't have been very deep at all. Oh, that's a musket ball. Well, that's quite nice. That raises my hopes somewhat from all the rubbish that we've found so far. I don't know if you can see, but that's the intersection and the road just through there. So it's very much a verge that I'm detecting here. This thing, 18 to 20, but it's full depth. Why woods aren't so popular is because the number of roots that you've got to cut through, which makes it quite hard work. So it may not suit the faint-hearted. But as I say, some of my best finds have been in the woods, so personally I think it's worth the extra effort. It's seeming like something too large to be a coin, but there we are. It's a 303 bullet. We'll have a look at the date when we clean that up, but it's probably Second World War. Right, high number here, and it's a real pinger, but because it's so close to the surface, it's so loud, I think that's going to be the proverbial tin can. Well, it turned out to be a piece of aluminium, whether that's part of the flying bomb or not, that has been described to me as crashing near here. Don't know, but there we are. 10 or 12 on this one. 60% on the depth. Sadly, just disturbed a little field mouse or shrew or something, but he's run off now anyway. Don't know where he's gone. It wasn't very deep. It was supposed to be here somewhere. That's where it was showing. Let's get this detector in a minute. I think it's in there. Right, I'll come back. Right, it wasn't very deep. I don't know what that is. Some sort of attachment. I don't think it's decorative. I think it's a piece of engineering. We'll see later on. Right, something tiny, I suspect. Again, it's not very deep. It's actually a piece of ferrite, so it's probably the core from a battery or something, hence the low number. But there we go. Where's the road? So it's a very narrow strip, you see. Right, anyway, turn the Bluetooth off. 17 or 18, right by that tree. Right, unfortunately, after digging through quite a few roots and things, it's one of those. It's a ring pull. So this particular stretch, it's only 1/4 acre, which is verge woodland, hasn't really borne fruit. I found one musket ball which shows that there is always potential anywhere. The bit I'm interested in is, unfortunately it belongs to somebody else, so to the south of here, and it's slightly larger wood. Anyway, I'm just taking a bit of a breather, do a bit more, and yeah, see if we don't find something historic. Right, well, thanks for watching too. Right, I don't rate this one terribly. 8 or 9. I think that's a very, very rusty shotgun cartridge end. I might be wrong though. Right, I stood up and re-swept it and with the detector, and it showed 10. Now I've got something that is bloomin' tiny. So what is that? I have no idea. There's some sort of tank under here that was put in recent times. Here I've got a pinpointer for that. We can see it's just a piece of aluminium. I believe that could be part of the flying bomb. Don't need a pinpointer for that one. It's a piece of copper or tin strip. So there's quite an assemblage of rubbish here, probably from when they put the septic tank in, but right, it hasn't got a clearly definable centre, so I'm going to take a risk and say that's more rubbish. Same general area, so not holding out too much hope. What have we got? 14. Right, this one is in the clod anyway, 14, 15 I think we said. Evidently it was quite shallow too, so I'm not getting overly optimistic. There we are, more aluminium. On to the next. That bank on the right is basically this tree line here on the right, and it drops down to the road, so that's where I was earlier. And I've got a low number here. 8, 9. %, on the depth. Right, what's interesting is the signal's got a bit more rickety as it's come out of the hole. So we'll see what that is. Unfortunately it's just a bit of foil, so nothing to write home about. It's a little bit better. 18, 19. Right, out of that hole came this. Looks like a 50 caliber wartime machine gun bullet, either fired from an aircraft or from ground artillery. I'd say it's probably from an aircraft, but I don't think one can tell, unfortunately. There'll be a date on the back of it anyway. As I say, the original plot was about 8.6 acres, but it's been reduced to about 4. The pasture area we're talking about, so what I detected was the bit not occupied by the bungalow, which is about 2 acres. So I've basically lined up the bits found in the pasture and bits found in the 10-metre wide strip of wood that surrounds it in 2 strips. So starting first of all with the pasture, piece of iron, another piece of iron, aluminium tube. I believe that could be linked to the exploded doodle bug that was described to me by the landowner, and I think that one too. Piece of aluminium, connection of some sort. Alley, something copper, don't know, copper alloy. A lid, a 303, can't get the date off it easily, and an aluminium end of a tube or something. Scrap of aluminium, lead washer, piece of tin by the looks of it, probably to do with the installation of the septic tank in the last 30-40 years. This one here has got 42, so 50 caliber, 1942. Obviously that's a date of manufacture, or I think that's a date of manufacture or expiry, not sure, but I think it's it could therefore have been dropped after 42. A ring from a piece of horse chandlery. And now on to the pieces that were found in the wood. Another piece of that same aluminium tubing, which I think is to do with the flying bomb, the doodle bug. Piece of aluminium, sort of block shape. Aluminium, not typically aircraft, but could be from the flying bomb. Aircraft normally has blind rivets all over it. Piece of steel, 2 shotgun cartridge ends. I don't know what this is. There are power lines around the edge of that strip of wood. Coke can, typical Coke can. This is one of the nicest things, a musket ball. Obviously it could have been fired from some yards away, so somewhere near there's probably older things to be found. Bit of foil, a ring pull, another 303. I can't see the date on that. I think it says K something. This I thought was something decorative. It's an electrical or electronic connector of some description. Kilmarnock bottle top, 1980s or 90s, decimal 1p. Tiny piece of lead, and another tiny piece of lead, but that I can see as a crimp for a wire. So not an awful lot of historic things, but
lesson learnt regarding the permissions. I didn't get to go on the permission that I originally hoped to go on, but anyway, it was kind of the landowner to let me do that 2 or 3 acres and the strip of wood. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next.